right. Hello, and welcome back to a new episode of the podcast. New year, slightly new format, and a new guest. So today I am here with Professor, can you say your name?
Satoshi Kato.
Satoshi Kato, who is a visiting professor, is that your title? Visiting professor at NCU. So mainly we just want to have a conversation, hear from the professor, hear why he came to NCU. So, Professor, can you tell me first where you're from?
Hi, everyone. My name is Satoshi Kato. I was born and raised in Japan, and I have studied in Tokyo, which is the capital of Japan. And I started working in Kagoshima, which is the southernmost part of Japan. And I'm now in NCU from the end of July to the end of September as a visiting scholar at National Central University.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you're from close to Nagoya, is that right? And you
Right.
You lived in Tokyo for a long time.
Right.
And you're now a full professor in Kagoshima and also visiting here in Taiwan. Wow, okay. That's a long journey. That's really interesting. So can you tell me a little bit about why you chose to come to Taiwan? What made you interested in Taiwan originally, coming from Japan?
Originally, I finished my PhD in 2024. Yeah, I guess it was 2024. And then I came to Kagoshima University to start working as a career for professor. And my first task was to have a collaboration with Taiwanese university.
Wow.
And it was actually a National Center University. So then we had a collaboration activities in 2024 between Kagoshima University and National Center University. And after that, my friend in Taiwan invited me to apply for a scholarship program for overseas researcher. And I applied for it and I was accepted. So that's why I'm here now.
Wow, that's really interesting. So you're a teacher, you're a researcher. So what kind of research are you doing in Taiwan?
Expertise is educational psychology, and I'm interested in intercultural educational practice. So what we've done in 2024 with National Central University was intercultural educational practice. And what I'm doing here this time is also intercultural educational practice. The topic is about U.S. tariff on East Asia. This is a serious issue, so I'm preparing for it now, and I'll be back to Japan at the end of this month, but I will do online practice from the beginning of October to November between Japanese students and Taiwanese students.
Wow, so it's a collaboration between Japanese students and Taiwanese students to kind of discuss the implications of these American tariffs on the different countries. And it's to hopefully try and find some kind of common ground. Is that the idea? Some similarities and some differences.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So speaking more broadly, what kind of research have you engaged with in Japan? Is it similar to this sort of you mentioned educational psychology, so trying to understand the relationships between how people perceive some issues? Is that?
During my PhD program, my topic was about English education. My university is like specialized in language teaching or language learning. Yeah, I'm also interested in English education. I am the one, like when I was a elementary school, I don't know, like when I was a high school, I'm the worst in English.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I would not be able to guess that now. No way. You're great. Yeah.
Thanks. But because of when I go to cram school, right? There's very great English teacher. His way of teaching was pretty great. So I was like intrigued in English. Then I advanced myself to the language university, which is one of the top language university in Japan. And then I feel like I'm very interested in English education in Japan, because like most students, I think it's not only in Japan but also in other countries, but like Japanese students have studied English for like 10 years, right? Until they enter universities. But like most of them are pretty shy, pretty hesitant to speak English. So I just wonder why, because like they have lots of opportunities to speak English, but they are really hesitant when it comes to communications, right? Face-to-face communications or online communications with foreigners. So I focused on like psychological perspective, because there might be a way to solve this kind of like serious issue, right? Because like there's a globalization, and Japanese people, the birth rate in Japan are decreasing. So it's globalization is a key, but like if Japanese people are shy, maybe it's difficult, right, to collaborate with like foreign people or people outside of Japan. So that's why I focus on psychological perspective, and especially I focus on courage, right? Like psychological, function of courage,
Right. So you say that inspecting this idea of courage in language learning is how you can kind of transform the way that in Japan and maybe in other countries as well, people engage with learning a second language, or engage with the confidence needed to work with a second language.
Yeah.
So do you think that, this is a little off topic, but do you think that, like, what needs to change in an education system in order to encourage this, in order to change? That's the big question, right? The policy question.
Right. My focus during my PhD program was a like social support, right? Interpersonal support, I can say, because like when I focus on courage, I realize it's pretty difficult like to develop courage by oneself, right? So in that sense, like social support is essential to develop like psychological functions. Such people engage in conversations with foreigners. So I think like offering social support is a key, right, to change the situation.
Right. So that's something that can definitely be changed, not just in Japan, but across the world in the way that we... So one thing I wanted to ask you about a little bit, and this is also a little bit different from what we talked about before.
Sure.
As a university professor, you're both a researcher and a teacher.
Right.
So which one do you view as being you know, more relevant to how you feel about yourself? Do you say I am a researcher, or that I am a teacher at heart? I know that's a difficult question for a lot of professors because they're so deeply intertwined.
Right.
I'm curious on your perspective.
Sure. I think both elements are important, but if I choose, I'm a researcher because I'm basically interested in research, but my expertise is educational psychology. So this means so for you, it's even more complicated because teaching, your research is related to teaching as well. Deeply related to research, right? But like if I focus on career, right? If I focus on career as a university professor, I think like research might be more important, right, than teaching, right? Because when I move on to another university, many university professors like are more likely to focus on research, outcome rather than teaching experience. Of course, teaching experience might be also considered important, but like basically I think like research is more important, and I want to explore, right? As a researcher, like I want to explore many universities or universities in different countries. So I think I want to be a researcher.
Yeah. So speaking of that, in different countries, do you find that there are significant differences between Taiwanese universities? And now that you worked at two Japanese universities, and now you've worked at NCU as well.
Right.
How do you feel that they are different or the same?
I'm not sure, like, but Taiwanese buildings are pretty big, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Japanese buildings are small, but like Taiwanese buildings, the campuses are also big. So but
the
like,
scale is definitely You mentioned this to me the other day, and I don't know about Japanese universities, but I think it is true in Taiwan that as particularly at NCU, we do have these really large buildings. The scale is very different, I think, to even the rest of Taiwan to some extent.
Right,
like,
right.
yeah, the university system. So physically, there's a
Right.
difference.
Yeah. In addition to collaboration with Taiwanese universities, I have also collaborated with American universities, such as University of Hawaii. And throughout collaboration with Hawaiian, like American students, I realized like we are pretty close, right? Like not only we are different, but also we are pretty close. Even though like we were born and raised in like different places and different like backgrounds, right? Different cultural context. We noticed that we have lots of similarities, right? Even though we were like ethnically different.
Right, right. I think that's a lovely sentiment, and that like higher education is like it's so universal in the sense that like we all have kind of the same goals within teaching and research, because so many of the structures might be different, but ultimately like the creation of knowledge and engaging with knowledge, that's the goal, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think that's a nice way to put it, actually. I think that's lovely. So what made you really want to become a university professor? What drove you to, you mentioned that you had this experience with second language learning when you were younger, but what made you say, you know, this is for me? Like now you're in the field, this is for me, this is my interest.
Yeah, this is a really difficult question. I think I'm like exploring now, but one of the topics I'm working on now is peace education. Because when I collaborated with a students in University of Hawaii, the topic is about peace education, and because like Japan and the United States has had a event of Pearl Harbor, right?
Yeah.
The attack of Japanese army on Hawaiian islands, and it was very tragic event. And I think like the lessons from World War II can be applied to like today, right? Because like polarization is going on.
Yeah.
And I think we need a communication or dialogue, right, between people whose background is different. And speaking of like dialogue, I think like my focus, right? My focus is on primarily on dialogue, right? Because like if my focus during my PhD program is on college, right? But like college actually doesn't change the core problem, right?
Right.
Because
right.
if you
I see what you mean.
Having courage is a starting point. And by having courage, people need to engage in dialogue, right? Then you might or you might solve the problem. So in that sense, maybe like dialogue might be my primary focus for my career.
Wow. Okay. So it's dialogue. It's creating this dialogue both with students, but also a wider societal dialogue. So that also ties together your work in Hawaii and also your work here, where you're engaging with Taiwanese and Japanese students.
Right.
I think that's a great little bow tie to put over everything. That's really wonderful.
Thanks.
So, okay. I think that your research is really interesting, and I think it asks a lot of important questions, like particularly relating to current events. So how do you sort of try and, because the way that dialogue exists in the world now has definitely changed a lot. Right. Maybe even since you did your PhD, like it's continually developing, like internet dialogue. And to me, these things seem maybe the medium has changed, and maybe the pace as well. How do you think that has changed the kind of research that you do?
I think like recently, like we have experienced COVID-19, right? And that has changed a lot, right? Because like prior to COVID, people have a communications like based on like face to face, right? Mostly face to face. And during COVID, like the internet like foundation, right? Infrastructure are sharply developed. So everyone
And Zoom and
right?
Microsoft
Zoom,
Teams and
Microsoft,
everything like that. Yeah. But more so than that as well, you know.
Right.
Social media
Right,
grown so much even just in these last few years.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, but like the point is that we have most people use social media, and when people use social media, mostly they only interact with information they prefer, right?
Right. I see what you mean. So
Yeah.
it's not a matter of dialogue at that point. It's a matter of like you just exist within what you already think you know. Something like that.
Yeah, like when you use social media, maybe basically people are comfortable, right? But like I sometimes see, but when people use social media in Japan, like people really fight with each other when they encounter different ideology, right? So it's very polarized, even on social media.
Right. And you think that leads to polarization in society as well.
Right.
So it sort of bleeds into creating this modern issue, right?
Because like when it comes to polarization, I think when like 10 or 20 years ago, like people mostly the polarization occurred like between countries. But nowadays, like polarization is occurring everywhere inside the country, right? As well as outside the countries.
Yeah. So that's definitely changed, particularly in the Japanese landscape. I think we were talking the other day about, not to go too far into politics, but the way that sort of a Japanese society is structured around kind of avoiding these kinds of internal conflicts.
Right.
And nowadays, this might be something that is changing both in Japan and, of course, I mean, I'm American. I know this as much as anyone. You know, our society is defined by social media conflicts and people not seeing eye to eye on different issues.
Because like in nowadays, like right wing extreme party is gaining popularity in Japan. Like I think it's especially in Japan, it's pretty difficult to talk about politics. So that's like. I think like it's I think it's very difficult, maybe like not in Japan but also in world, like to find a timing of talking about politics. But like especially it's in particular in Japan, it's pretty sensitive topic. So like Japanese people have few opportunities to talk about, to engage in dialogue, and as a result, like people are pretty polarized, right? Because there are no opportunities to talk about politics. So I think like of course like we have to be careful, right? We need to find an appropriate timing, but I think it's necessary, right, in today's society for people to find the chances or to provide people with opportunities for dialogues about politics.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true, and that's something that we really don't have an answer to that as a society. And it's not, like you said, it's not just a Japanese issue. I mean, this is every country. Everyone is dealing with these same issues driven by the way that we interact with each other and the way that we interact with the internet more as a whole. I mean, I could not think of a more topical issue than what you're talking about right now. Looking towards the future, not just in academia, but wider society. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're pretty good. Is that like 20 minutes? Hey, are we good on time? We could do an outro.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you really want to say? 22?
It's okay.
Okay. Is that okay? Do you think for like 20 minutes that's fine?
Already 20
22. Okay. Yeah. Did you have anything else you really wanted to say?
No back here.
Okay.
Yeah, I was.
I think that was pretty good.
Really?
Okay. We can say thank you now. And on that note, we'll be finishing out. So I would like to take... Let me do that again. Okay. On that note, I would... Why is this the difficult part? We just talked for 20 minutes. Okay. On that note, I think we should call it here. So I'd like to thank Professor Satoshi Kato today for joining us.
Thank you.
Here in NCU. Okay. Thank you very much for viewing. See you next time. Bye.